Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Now today we are going to be talking about the Watkins Glen results for Cup, Xfinity, and the Truck Series. But first, before we get into that, let's talk about the schedule for the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Road Course. Um, so this is only going to be the road course, not the Speedway. And this is also when that NASCAR and IndyCar will be sharing a weekend together. So that'll be really fun. So here is the schedule. So first, Xfinity will be on the practice on Friday, August 13th at 5:30 Eastern Time. On Saturday, it will be then qualifying for the Xfinity Series race at 10:05 a.m. Eastern Time, and then in 1 hour time, it will be practice for the Cup Series for at 11:05. And then it will be the race for the Xfinity Series at 4 p.m. Eastern Time for the running of the Pennzoil 150 at the Brickyard. And then there'll be obviously a press pass for the Xfinity race. And then for Sunday, it will be qualifying on 9 a.m. For the Cup Series at Eastern Time, so 9 a.m. Eastern Time, and at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, it will be the Cup race for the running of the Verizon 200 at the Brickyard. And then at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, that will be the press pass for post-Cup race. So that is the road course for Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So that's the road course. So practice and qualifying will be back for this weekend. Now let's get into the results, and we'll first start off with the Truck Series. And I'm actually going to do something a little bit different here. Due to me actually watching the highlights for the videos of the race, I will be actually basically mentioning some stuff that happened during the race, just to make it easier for me. So I have it on my notes, my second monitor, just so I can read them out. So for the Truck Series, that was won by good old Austin Hill. Austin Hill gets his, I think his second win, right, of this year. I'm really bad. I really can't remember. Second place was our regular season champion of the Truck Series, John Nemechek, then Sheldon Creed, Todd Gilliland, Parker Kligerman. Shout out to him with a top 5 finish in Henderson Motorsport Equipment from 38th. Zane Smith, Tyler Ankrum, Paul Menard starting from 39th to finish 8th, and Sam Mayer starting 40th to finish in 9th place in Brent Holmes Racing Equipment. I'm shocked about that. And rounding out the top 10 is Carson Hocevar. In 11th, now replacing Timothy Peters, is Josh Berry in 11th place, and Kaz Grala in the 02 Young's Motorsports, just replacing Chris Wright. Christian Eckes, then Tanner Gray, Ben Rhodes in 15th, Austin Wayne Self, Ryan Truex, Corey Helm, Haley Deegan, and Stuart Friesen round out the top 20. Notable finishes outside of the top 20. 21st place, missing out on the playoffs, Derek Kraus. 22nd, Matt Crafton. Missing out on the playoffs, surprisingly, Johnny Sauter in 23rd. 25th, Jack Wood. 27th, replacing Chase Purdy, who was positive with COVID-19. AJ Allmendinger. 34th, making his series debut, and the brother of Ross Chastain, Chad Chastain. 35th, finally making his debut in the Truck Series, Taylor Gray, and 38th, Greg Enfinger. Now, these are some events that happened during the race. So, firstly, lap 1 in turn 1, Ben Rhodes and John Nemechek collided. I know. And then actually later, Chandler Smith also spun out turn 1 as well when all that chaos was happening. On lap 2, Tate Fogelman spun out in the bus stop. In lap 8, Chad Chastain crashed into the wall in turn 1. I think locked on the brakes. In lap 11, Christian Eckes spun out in a restart in turn 1. Lap 16, Matt Crafton got some. I don't know if he actually got some help, but he spun out in the bus stop. And then behind him, when he was actually going to pit road, Bobby Reuse in the number 3 Jordan Anderson racing truck spun out behind him, exiting out of the hairpin before the bus stop of the carousel. Lap 21, that was when Todd Gilliland won stage 1, so you see right in front of you, stage 1 winner was Todd Gilliland. Lap 27, Tanner Gray spins out, Derek Kraus and Haley Deegan go to the grass just to avoid him. And on lap 46, Austin Hill wins stage 2. So there he is right there. Lap 54, Derek Kraus spins and hits the wall, basically ending his chances of making it into the playoffs. And in lap 62, the race was called for lightning. So it was a shortened race than normal, and Austin Hill won the race, and the playoff grid has been set for the Truck Series, which I'll be talking about later, and I'll tell you also what I'm going to do there. So now that was the Truck Series for running of the United Rentals 176 at the Glen. Let's now move on to the Xfinity Series, and this teenager, this absolute star teenager, may be one of the greatest NASCAR drivers we will ever see in the future. Hopefully, my dogs are barking. That was won by Ty Gibbs. So Ty Gibbs won the race. Behind him was AJ Allmendinger, then Austin Cindric, Justin Allgaier, Harrison Burton, Brennan Jones, Noah Gragson, Jeb Burton, Justin Haley, and Sam Mayer ran out the top 10. Then Mike Cornett coming back from his injury, Brandon Brown, Riley Herbst, Josh Williams, Maya Snyder, Jeremy Clements, Chris Wright, Ryan Sieg, Tommy Joe Martins, and Landon Castle ran out the top 20. Only one driver failed to qualify, and that was obviously the number 13 of Davis Starr. Nova finishes outside of top 20. In 22nd place is Daniel Hemrick. 26th, Brent Moffitt. 35th, making his Xfinity debut with JD Motorsports number 6, Michael Mundley. 36th, Eric Jones, driving for Jordan Anderson Racing. And 37th, Austin Dillon, driving for our Motorsports. So here's some events that happened that I picked up on while I was watching the highlights. On lap 2, well, technically lap 1 for them, but lap 2, Ryan Sieg and David Smith collide at near the final corner. I think turn 6, technically, on the map, but it was actually like turn 9. Lap 4, Michael Mundley goes into the wall hard, spun out. I think going through the carousel, spun out and hit a front end onto the wall. Lap 13, Kyle Tilley spins out on the restart. And lap 21, Austin Cindric wins stage 1. See right there. Lap 41, nothing really happened but in stage 2. So AJ Allmendinger wins stage 2 by a nose against Ty Gibbs. It was very, very close. Lap 47, Maya Snyder spins out, I think in the bus stop, if I remember correctly. Lap 48, Matt Mills hits the wall hard. I actually can't remember where. I think it was also at I think it was at the end of the bus stop, going to the carousel, like little, the little hairpin. Lap 66, Eric Jones hits the wall hard. Yeah, so he hits it really, really hard, and well, not really hard, but hits the wall, and it comes to a stop at the gravel trap at turn 8. So that was lap 66. Lap 79, I think it was a restart. Daniel Hemrick spins out, and lap 80, Bailey Curry spins out while the leaders battle, which was Ty Gibbs and AJ Allmendinger. So yeah, that battle between Gibbs and Allmendinger, it was great. That was a fantastic battle. So that's for the Xfinity Series for running of the Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey 200. A very interesting name, I would just say. A very interesting sponsor name. And finally, for the Cup Series, before we get into the standings for all of these three series, the Cup Series that was won by now 5-time winner this season, Kyle Larson. Second place to him, who had a penalty because of failing tech inspection. There we go. Multiple times, Chase Elliott, so working his way back from the back up the pack. Martin Truex Jr. in third, then Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, William Byron, Christopher Bell on the same boat as Chase Elliott, started from the back because of because failed tech inspection too many times. Kevin Harvick, Chase Briscoe, and Tyler Reddick round out the top 10. Matt DiBenedetto, Ross Chastain, Kurt Busch, Ryan Blaney, Austin Dillon, Eric Almirola, Chris Buescher, Cole Custer, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., and Alex Bowman ran out the top 20. The number of finishes outside of the top 20. In 22nd place, Joe Logano. 23rd, Bubba Wallace. 31st, Daniel Suarez. 34th, making his NASCAR debut, and a in a I guess well, not really regular, but an IndyCar driver, R.C. Anderson. And 35th, Brad Keselowski. No, so no events that happened. So events that happened in the race that I caught that I caught on, or mainly what happened in the race, as I saw in the highlights. So if I miss out your favorite part, I apologize. I only watched the highlights on YouTube. On lap 10, Brad Keselowski spun out after, I don't know, I guess just getting pressured. But I think his brakes was having some issues, so he couldn't really brake properly, so he just spun out. Lap 10. In lap 21, his teammate Joe Logano wins stage 1. Lap 25, Ryan Blaney spins out, and while that was happening, in turn 7, entering turn 7 near the pit stop, James Davison stops on the track. I think has maybe transmission issue. I can't really remember. On lap 40 and on lap 41, Martin Truex Jr. wins stage 2 after a close battle between him and I don't really know. I'm just guessing. Because it didn't show in the highlights. I'm gonna say it was just a battle between him and Christopher Bell. I may be wrong, obviously. Um, I don't know. On lap 53, Eric Jones spins out at the carousel, I think. But well, I don't know. It was the hairpin after the bus stop. I think it's called a carousel. I have no clue. Lap 54. While while battling for the lead, Truex, Bell, and Larson on turn 1, Larson spins Bell out after giving him very little space. He did lock up the wheels, and he also said in his post-race interview that it was his fault that Bell spun. So I guess take his word for it, but it did kind of look like a racing incident. Bell could have left more space. Larson probably shouldn't be that aggressive, all that other stuff. And on lap 56, Logano and Keselowski collided. Just like I said earlier about Keselowski having some brake issues, he had once again brake issues. Spun out in turn 1 and hit Logano, his own teammate. God, Roger Penske had a terrible day there because I'll go off topic here. I'll talk about IndyCar for a second. An IndyCar, Will Power, driving for Team Penske, hit Scott McLaughlin and Simon Pagenaud, and they both spun out. Pagenaud retired, and McLaughlin, I think, was 13 laps down, if I remember correctly. But not that good for Roger Penske, and I think Powell and Keselowski, they're probably gonna be hiding now. They shouldn't really be looking at their phone at all, in my opinion. But here we are. So I guess we'll now talk about the standings after I'm done with the Cup Series, which I am now, for running of the Go Bowling at the Glen something. Well, it was 220 miles. So I was like, go 220 miles. There we go. Yay. Go bowling at the Glen. So first, let's talk about the Truck Series standings later, because they also had the playoffs on. We'll talk about the Cup Series first. I think, even though I normally do that, I really can't remember. So here's the standings for the Cup Series. And oh boy, is it getting feisty up there for the regular season championship, especially against Larson and Hamlin. So we'll first talk about the playoffs. See, you obviously have to look over here. Kyle Larson wins, not wins, but he's currently in the playoff lead up, like, with a humongous gap, I just want to say. He's definitely going to have a very comfortable points gap. Second to him is Martin Truex Jr., then Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, William Byron, Alex Bowman, Joe Logano, Denny Hamlin, who's locked himself into the playoffs, Ryan Blaney, Brad Keselowski, Kurt Busch, Christopher Bell, Michael McDowell, Eric Almirola, Kevin Harvick, and Tyler Reddick. Harvick has also locked himself into the playoffs. So basically, Tyler Reddick is currently on the bubble. This is how competitive this season has been for NASCAR. They have 13 different winners. Hamlin is already locked in, including Harvick. And now it's just the battle of the final spot between Reddick and Dillon. So that's going to be a battle to watch for, definitely. I guess behind them as well, Chris Buescher, Matt DiBenedetto, Ross Chastain, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Bubba Wallace, and Chase Briscoe from 18th to 23rd. So that's the playoff picture for you. And now for the regular season, it is a tie currently between Larson and Hamlin, both with 917 points. And going into the road course, I don't think any of them even has any experience other than Chase Briscoe and Cindric if he's going to be in it, which is most likely. But basically, Briscoe and Cindric, they only those two drivers they have experience. I think some other drivers as well. Correct me if I'm wrong. From last season, but that's all I can really remember. I think Alfredo as well. I think Alfredo also has experience, but I really can't remember. I do apologize. I do apologize if I do miss out on any drivers who actually did compete last season in the road course, but I really can't remember. Um, because I think it was only Xfinity Series only, so it wasn't Cup. I think it was just Xfinity Series. I may be wrong. I apologize if I am wrong. But anyways, I'm getting off topic. Loris and Hamlin both tied up on the top of the on top of the leaderboard. Third place, William Byron, then Kyle Busch, Joe Logano, Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr., Ryan Blaney, Kevin Harvick, Brad Keselowski round out the top 10. Then Alex Bowman, Tyler Reddick, Austin Dillon, Kurt Busch, Christopher Bell, Chris Buescher, Matt DiBenedetto, Ross Chastain, Michael McDowell, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. round out the top 20. So that's the Cup Series for you, and now we move on to the Xfinity Series where Austin Cindric, just like Larson, has a very comfortable lead in the playoffs. Behind him, it is AJ Allmendinger, then Justin Allgaier, Daniel Hemrick, Jeb Burton, Harrison Burton, Justin Haley, Maya Snyder, Noah Gragson, Brandon Jones, Jeremy Clements, and Michael Annett round out the playoff picture. Annett has also been given a waiver. I think I mentioned in my last video. Riley Herbst, Brandon Brown, Ryan Sieg, Tommy John Martins, Alex LeBay, and Landon Castle are the drivers who's trying to make their way into the playoffs. I think Riley Herbst and maybe Brandon Brown, they actually have a legitimate chance, maybe? I don't know, I may be wrong, but I think they might have a legitimate chance. And for the regular season, Austin Cindric with a humongous, well not only humongous, but only 80 points in front of AJ Allmendinger, who's in second. Then Daniel Hemrick, Justin Allgaier, Harrison Burton, Jeb Burton, Justin Haley, Noah Gragson, Brandon Jones, Jeremy Clements round out the top 10. Then Michael Annett, Riley Herbst, Mike Snyder, Brandon Brown, Josh Berry, Ryan Sieg, Ty Gibbs, Tommy John Martins, and let me just scroll down a bit, Alex LeBay, and Landon Castle rounding out the top 20. So that is for the Xfinity Series, and now we move on to the Truck Series, who obviously has the playoffs. So these are the drivers who are in the playoffs: John Hunter Nemechek, Austin Hill, Ben Rose, Todd Gilliland, Sheldon Creed, Zane Smith, Matt Crafton, Carson Hocevar, Chandler Smith, and Stuart Friesen. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, Chandler Smith was disqualified from the race. I can't remember what for though. So going into the next race, which I think is Gateway, if I remember correctly. Nemechek has a very comfortable lead. Maybe also Austin Hill. Not Ben, maybe Rhodes and Gillen and Creed. But Smith to Friesen, that's going to be the interesting part, because there's only two drivers gets eliminated from the Truck Series playoffs, and yada yada yada. So Smith and Friesen, they are both 1 point behind Hocevar, who is on the bubble. And yeah, I really can't wait for the next race, which I think for them is Gateway, if I remember correctly. Oh, I may be wrong though. Let me actually have a look. Okay, so this is the round of 10 tracks. So we've got Gateway, Darlington, and Bristol. Those are the 3 tracks that will be in the playoffs for round of 10. So with all that, that's really about it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Catch you guys on next time in the next one. Goodbye.